Welcome to the Family Bible Journey. Every time you listen, you are a blessing and encouragement to us as we seek to leave the legacy of faith as we journey and journal through the Bible. So thanks for listening. This is episode 191, season 1 of the Family Bible Journey Old Testament podcast. Today we're looking at 1 Kings chapters 9 and 10. The title of today's podcast is Queen of Sheba. And our key verses for today are chapter 10, verses 6 to 9, where the Queen of Sheba tells us how impressed she was with King Solomon. And she said to the king, "The report was true that I heard in my own land of your words and of your wisdom, but I did not believe the reports until I came and my own eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity surpassed the report that I had heard. Happy are your men. Happy are your servants who continually stand before you and hear your wisdom. Blessed be the Lord your God, who has delighted in you and set you on the throne of Israel. Because the Lord loved Israel forever, he has made you king, that you may execute justice and righteousness." Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and a very great quantity of spices and precious stones. Never again came such an abundance of spices as these that the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. This is the word of the Lord. In these chapters, we see the greatest height of Solomon's prosperity, really embodied in the person of that Queen of Sheba, this faithful woman from Africa, from Central to East Africa, who came up from Africa into the ancient Near East just because of the wonders and the marvels that she had heard told her about ancient King Solomon. And when she came to see all that he had done and hear his wisdom and learn from him and be blessed by him, she is left speechless. And I have also a note on chapter 10, verse 9, that says, the roots of the Coptic faith begin here. This Queen of Sheba, she was converted by King Solomon to faith in the one true God, the God of Israel. And if we fast forward about 950 years, we're going to be introduced in the Gospel of Acts. I suppose it's actually closer to 1,000 years, actually. Who is, in Acts chapter 8, a eunuch in the court of the Ethiopian monarch. And that eunuch, the Ethiopian eunuch, as he's referred to in Acts chapter 8, he is living proof that the faith that the Queen of Sheba took back with her down to Ethiopia was still vibrant and strong 1,000 years after her earthly life's end. Because if you have faithful Jewish people or faithful people who are coming up to Jerusalem to worship the God of Israel, they're traveling many hundreds of miles. They're crossing many international borders. They're taking great personal risk to make that journey in faith to worship the one true God. And so this woman is so impressed. Her officials are so impressed by Solomon and the God of Israel that they came to faith in the one true God, and they preserved that faith for hundreds, if not thousands of years. In the Coptic Church, still today, some 3,000 years after the lifetime of King Solomon, is one of the most ancient church bodies in the world, and it is also historically been one of the most persecuted church bodies in the entire world. And yet these people, these Coptic Christians, they hold on to the Christian faith that has roots right here in the life of King Solomon, as his wisdom, his wealth, his prosperity move the Queen of Sheba to faith. And in the rest of chapter 10, we hear descriptions of Solomon's wealth and prosperity that makes it hard for us to fathom. The idea that there were literally tons of refined and precious gold being brought to him every year by his subjects is astounding. You can still see some of the stables, in particularly at Megiddo, that housed many of Solomon's chariots and horses. And we are at awe with the description of his throne, ivory overlaid with gold, the thought that there were hundreds of golden shields for his servants. These shields, by the way, were not meant for military use. They were purely for display in parades and pomp and circumstance, because gold isn't as strong as bronze or iron for weaponry. So these hundreds of golden shields that Solomon has made, 200 large shields we're told, and 300 smaller shields, this is just astounding. And the sort of wealth that, in my opinion, should make a billionaire blush. Because Solomon accumulated all of these goods, all of this land, all of this treasure through the abundant blessing of his God and the judicious and prudent use of his human wisdom. The relationships that he had built up with kings all over the ancient Near East enriched him. And there are a lot of lessons for us to learn from Solomon. One of those I have recorded here as a Words of Wisdom section, where it talks about Solomon's dealings with faraway kingdoms. And that Words of Wisdom is that your success is found in the success of others. Solomon was rich, not only in earthly wealth, but also in relationships. Relationships with people who benefited from him and his wisdom, and also people that he benefited from as they enriched him in worldly terms, even as he enriched them by sharing the wisdom that God had given him. And this is a lesson that many of us should appreciate today, because it is no longer property that defines wealth and creates wealth, as much as it is the wisdom and the ideas and the knowledge that we have to offer the world. And so one great lesson for us to take from the lifetime and the wisdom of Solomon is that if you really want to enrich yourself, spend time investing in yourself, learning the things that are going to make you successful, but also spend time enriching the lives of others with your wisdom and presence, because it truly is in the success of others that you will find your own success, just as Solomon found his success in blessing others. If you'd like to let us know that you are either journaling with us through the Bible or reading through the Bible, whether it's for the first time or again, or if you'd like to host an event, please let us know by using the contact form at the website, familybiblejourney.com. Our blessing for today. May your faithfulness to God draw others to him, just as Solomon's faithfulness led the Queen of Sheba to find the Lord and find faith through her relationship with King Solomon. Amen.